thoughts, our brain, thinking. Our brain can remember something really wonderful and pleasant. Our brain can focus on something wonderful and pleasant that's happening right now. And our brain can be really bothered by something unpleasant that's happening right now. And our brain can remember something unpleasant or difficult that happened 2 days ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it can focus on it and run it around and around and around for minutes to tens of minutes to what seems like hours. Thoughts. In mindfulness, we work to pay attention to our thoughts. And we work to maybe reduce or focus on our thoughts. So, welcome to Meditation, Mindfulness in Nature. I'm Roger. The definition that I like to use for mindfulness is bringing our awareness or attention or our focus to our breath, our emotion, our thoughts, our senses, and our surroundings with awareness of our judgments, and also trying to be in the present moment, letting the moment that just happened pass. Thoughts might be one of the most difficult ones to work with regarding being in the present moment. It is our brain's job to imagine, to analyze, to strategize, to judge, to interpret, to worry, and to keep all of this running, to keep our whole body running. So our brain has a lot of jobs. I'll say those again. Obviously to keep the whole body running, but it's also our brain's job to imagine, to analyze, to strategize, to judge, to interpret, and to worry. And we can give our brain something to do, and we can focus it with balancing our checkbook, counting change, looking through our to-do list, remembering passwords. And I'll lead you through right now just a little thought exploration roller coaster. And it's not a bad roller coaster, but just if you can follow with me, I'm going to ask you to just think of some different things. So think of a color that you like. And now, what is 2 plus 2? What am I doing with my hand? Now what am I doing with my hand? Think of a food that you don't like. What is it that you don't like about it? Is it the flavor, the texture, the smell? Now think of something pleasant that happened recently. Whether it was some food, what's a food that you enjoy? Is that what the pleasure was? Did you have a nice conversation with somebody? Did you get some time alone to just rest? Now think more about a food that you like. And what is it that you like about that food? Is it the flavor, the texture, probably the smell, probably all of it? So look how quickly I took you through a number of different thoughts. And because I was leading you and guiding you, you probably came with me. And you may have even had some other thoughts while I was taking you through this little thought experiment practice roller coaster. Our brain, when we focus it, we can do a lot. It's very powerful, and we can really be very focused. But when we don't give our brain something to do, it's going to be like, hey, I need to do these other things. I need to imagine, I need to strategize, I maybe need to analyze something that happened recently. And it's like, let me look through the database and see what I need to work on. And what's interesting also is our brain will often go to something that's more intense. Like right now, I mean, in all of life, emotions, thoughts, senses, surroundings. I'm sitting here right now and I'm recording this video. If a happy dog came walking up the road towards me, I'd be like, oh, there's a happy dog. We'll see what it does. If three mad, growling, angry, barking dogs came running up the road, that would really, really get my attention. I would not keep doing this video. I would get to safety. If I tried to keep doing this video with three dogs running towards me, I wouldn't be able to stay focused on doing the video. So intensity plays a role. So when our thoughts go to something that bothered us recently, it's because it was intense. If our thoughts go to something that was pleasant recently, it's because of intensity. So, and then, sometimes our brain brings up something that's from 5 or 10 years ago. And it's because it was like, oh, I need to think about things, and something got it to think about that. So thoughts can go all over the place. In Eastern meditation practices, they call our brain and how the thoughts go everywhere, monkey mind. I'm in North America where there are no monkeys, and so I like to call it squirrel brain, because that's the animal that we have around here that goes here, goes there, goes everywhere. But why I bring that up is that's what our brain does. So when we try to practice, when we try to do mindfulness practice, whether it's focusing on our breath or our emotions or calming our thoughts or exploring our senses or exploring our surroundings, our brain is always there and always thinking. And sometimes it's like, it's not my job to calm down. What do you mean you want me to calm down? What do you want me to reduce thinking? That's not my job. My job is to be thinking all the time. And so when you try to calm down and when you try to just focus and your brain is like racing, that's your brain's job, and it takes practice. Just like we can learn to paddle a kayak well, we can learn to shoot a basketball well, we could learn to balance well. It's by practice. And so practicing to calm your brain and to focus your brain is part of mindfulness. It's a huge part of the mindfulness practice. The primary reason that most people start an interest in meditation or mindfulness is to reduce stress. One of the big pieces of stress is our brain thinking about stuff. And so mindfulness, this is a practice, and we can learn this. We also can learn the being aware of our thoughts. So sometimes we're driving or we're sitting, we're watching TV, we're eating a meal, and all of a sudden we might be like in a bad mood. And it's because our brain went and opened up a file that has some conflict in it. And we were just trying to like watch a movie. But our brain is like, well, this part in this movie reminded me of that fight I had with somebody from work 3 weeks ago. And there our brain goes into that. And so working to focus, to calm our brain, to be aware of our thoughts, to be aware of what we are thinking are all parts of mindfulness. And when our brain starts to go off on something and we catch it, don't be upset with yourself or don't be upset with your brain. Celebrate that, because when you catch your brain going to some place that you don't want it to go, that's the magic moment of mindfulness. That's when you were aware of your thoughts and you caught it, and now you can bring your focus back to your breath or to watching the movie, because our brain goes and thinks about stuff, and we can be ruminating, be worrying, be running something around in our head a lot. And because we're so used to it, we don't even realize it till 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes that it's been going on. And it's having effect on our body, but we're kind of not even aware of it. And so part of the practice of mindfulness, bringing awareness to your thoughts, is to just be more aware of what you're thinking at any one time. A lot of us have a critical voice in our head, and we don't even realize that it's like insulting us how many hours a day or how many times an hour, because we don't even realize it because we're used to it. But when you start to bring your attention to your thoughts and you be more aware of your thoughts, it can really help you start to realize, oh, I'm criticizing myself. Oh, I'm thinking about this thing that upset me. And that's the start of becoming aware of our thoughts. And I like to call that the magic moment of mindfulness, because it's like, oh, there goes my brain again. So this is just a little bit about bringing our awareness to our thoughts. And I will have a number of practices on this channel. And sometimes I'll dive more into thoughts. Sometimes it'll be practices that always being aware of our thoughts is there. And so, but practicing to focus is a huge piece of mindfulness. So I hope this was helpful to you, and maybe a little bit like reducing some of your judgment of yourself, because your brain's job is to think, and we can direct it and we can calm it, but it takes practice. So take care. Thank you for watching.